Most beginners think opening a brokerage account is the hard part. Transfer some money, buy a few stocks, watch them grow. Simple, right? But after analysing hundreds of new investor accounts and tracking real money losses, I found something disturbing. The account setup is the easy part. The mistakes beginners make after opening their account cost them tens of thousands of dollars over just a few years. Some of these errors are so common that 9 out of 10 new investors make at least 3 of them in their first year alone. Here's what shocked me most. These aren't small mistakes like buying the wrong stock or missing out on a good investment. These are systematic errors built into how brokerages operate that drain your wealth silently while you think everything's going fine. The brokerages won't tell you about them because some of these mistakes directly benefit their bottom line. Let me break down the 5 costliest mistakes beginners make and show you exactly how much money you're leaving on the table. Before we dive into these wealth-destroying errors, you need to understand how brokerage accounts actually work. A brokerage account is your gateway to buying stocks, bonds, ETFs, and mutual funds. Unlike retirement accounts like your 401k or IRA, you can access this money anytime without penalties. Sounds great. But here's the catch. Every feature that makes brokerage accounts flexible also creates opportunities to lose money if you don't know what you're doing. The major brokerages, Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, Robinhood, they all offer commission-free stock trading now, $0 per trade. But don't be fooled into thinking these accounts are actually free. The real costs hide in places most beginners never look. The first mistake destroys more wealth than any other, and it's completely invisible to most new investors. Leaving cash uninvested in low-yield sweep accounts. When you deposit money into your brokerage account or sell a stock, that cash doesn't just sit there doing nothing. It gets automatically swept into what's called a cash sweep account. This is where the robbery happens in broad daylight. Here's the truth about cash sweep accounts. Most major brokerages sweep your uninvested cash into bank accounts paying almost nothing. Schwab's default bank sweep currently pays just 0.2% APY. Let me repeat that, 0.2%. Meanwhile, you could be earning 3.62% in Fidelity's SPACX money market fund, or 3.54% in other options. Do the math on $10,000 sitting in cash. At Schwab's default rate, you earn $20 per year. At Fidelity's money market rate, you earn $362. That's a difference of $342 you're handing to the brokerage for absolutely nothing. But it gets worse. Many beginners don't realize they're losing this money because they're focused on their stock picks. You might have $5,000, $10,000, even $50,000 sitting in cash between investments, waiting for the right opportunity, or just parked there after selling something. Every single day that cash earns almost nothing, the brokerage is making money off it. They take that cash, lend it out, invest it, and keep the spread. This isn't a conspiracy theory. In 2023, Schwab generated nearly half of its $18.8 billion in revenue from net interest income. That's the money they make on your cash. The fix is simple, but most beginners never do it. At Fidelity, change your core position to SPACX or FZFX money market funds. These currently yield around 3.6 to 3.9%. At Schwab, you have to manually buy money market funds like SWVXX because their default sweep is designed to benefit them, not you. At Vanguard, the default sweep is already a government money market fund yielding around 4.89%, which is why Vanguard customers don't get robbed on this. The second mistake costs beginners thousands in unnecessary taxes. Trading too frequently and triggering short-term capital gains taxes. New investors get excited. They see a stock jump 15% and sell it after 2 months to lock in profits. Smart move, right? Dead wrong. That profit just became a short-term capital gain taxed at your ordinary income rate. Here's how this destroys wealth. Let's say you're in the 22% tax bracket and you buy a stock for $5,000. 2 months later, it's worth $6,000. You sell it, feeling smart about your $1,000 profit, but you held it less than a year, so that $1,000 gets taxed at 22%. You lose $220 to taxes. Now let's say you held that same stock for 1 year and 1 day. Suddenly it's a long-term capital gain taxed at 15% or even 0% depending on your income. On that same $1,000 profit, you'd pay $150 in taxes instead of $220. Or possibly nothing. The difference gets massive as your account grows. Trade actively with $50,000 and generate $10,000 in short-term gains over a year. At 22% ordinary income rates, you pay $2,200 in taxes. Hold those positions long-term at 15% rates, you pay $1,500. That's $700 saved just by being patient. Do this every year for 10 years, and you've lost $7,000 to impatience. But the real damage goes deeper. Frequent trading also means you're constantly triggering taxable events while long-term investors let their positions compound tax-free for years or even decades. This is why Warren Buffett says his favourite holding period is forever. Not because he's philosophical, but because he's avoiding taxes and letting compounding do its work. The third mistake blindsides beginners who think they're being careful. Ignoring SIPC coverage limits and concentrating too much wealth at one brokerage. Most people know about FDIC insurance covering $250,000 at banks, but fewer understand SIPC insurance covering brokerage accounts. SIPC protects you up to $500,000 per account type at each brokerage, including a $250,000 limit on uninvested cash. This only applies if your brokerage fails financially, which is rare. But here's what beginners miss. The SIPC limit applies per account type, not per brokerage. If you have $200,000 in a traditional IRA at Fidelity, $300,000 in a Roth IRA at Fidelity, and $400,000 in a regular brokerage account at Fidelity, each account type gets separate coverage. But if you have two separate traditional IRAs at Fidelity totaling $700,000, you're only covered for $500,000 total for that account type. Smart investors split large balances across multiple brokerages once they exceed $500,000 per account type. Put your traditional IRA at Fidelity, your Roth at Schwab, your taxable account at Vanguard. Now each account gets full SIPC coverage. This doesn't protect against market losses, only brokerage failure. But why take unnecessary risk? The fourth mistake is pure negligence but happens constantly. Not understanding the difference between taxable accounts and retirement accounts for trading strategy. Beginners open a brokerage account and start trading it like a retirement account. Big mistake. Also, these accounts work completely differently for tax purposes. In a retirement account like a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, you can trade as much as you want with zero tax consequences. Sell a stock after 1 day, 1 month, 10 times in a year. Doesn't matter. No capital gains taxes until you withdraw the money in retirement. And with a Roth, potentially never. This makes IRAs perfect for active trading strategies if that's your thing. But in a regular taxable brokerage account, every single trade that makes money creates a taxable event. Sell one stock to buy another. That's a taxable event. Rebalance your portfolio 4 times a year. 4 taxable events. This is why tax-efficient investing is crucial in brokerage accounts. You want to hold positions long-term, minimize turnover, and be strategic about when you sell. Here's the strategy most beginners miss. Use your retirement accounts for your active trades, high turnover strategies, or investments that generate a lot of taxable income, like bonds or REITs. Use your taxable brokerage account for buy and hold stocks and tax-efficient index funds that you plan to hold for years. This simple account segregation can save you thousands in taxes annually. The fifth mistake combines ignorance with broken expectations. Not researching account features and assuming all brokerages are the same. New investors see commission-free trading everywhere and think all brokerages are identical. They pick one based on a slick app or a sign-up bonus and never investigate what they are actually getting. This costs them in dozens of small ways that add up. Here's what beginners overlook: fractional share trading. Not all brokerages offer it. If yours doesn't and you want to invest small amounts regularly, you're stuck buying full shares only, which limits your diversification. Customer service quality varies wildly. Try calling Robinhood when you have a problem. Good luck. Fidelity and Schwab have actual humans answering phones. Research tools and education differ dramatically. Fidelity offers extensive research, while Robinhood gives you almost nothing. Account types matter too. Some brokerages make it easy to open IRAs, custodial accounts, or trust accounts. Others don't support these at all or make it difficult. If you might need these later, you'll face transfer hassles. International trading access varies. Want to buy foreign stocks directly? Some brokerages offer it, many don't. Then there's the cash management we discussed earlier. This alone should drive your decision, but beginners ignore it. They sign up for an account, deposit money, and never check what their uninvested cash earns. Meanwhile, they're getting robbed of 3 to 4% annually on whatever sits in cash. The smart approach requires just 2 hours of research before opening an account. Compare cash sweep rates at your top choices. Check if they offer fractional shares. Read reviews about customer service. Look at their research tools and educational resources. Make sure they support the account types you might need eventually. This small-time investment can save you thousands over the years. Now here's what makes these mistakes so dangerous. They compound against you. Leave cash in a low-yield sweep account. Trade too frequently. Concentrate your wealth at one brokerage. Use the wrong accounts for the wrong strategies. And pick a subpar brokerage. Do all 5 and you're bleeding money from multiple wounds simultaneously. The brokerage is profiting off your ignorance while you think you're building wealth. Let's run the numbers on a typical beginner who makes all 5 mistakes. Start with $50,000. Leave $5,000 in cash at Schwab's 0.2% sweep instead of moving it to a 3.6% money market fund. That costs you $170 per year. Trade actively and generate $5,000 in short-term rather than long-term gains. At 22% versus 15% tax rates, that's an extra $350 in taxes annually. Ignore SIPC limits with everything at one brokerage. No immediate cost but unnecessary risk. Use taxable account for active trading instead of IRA. Generate an extra $1,000 in unnecessary taxable gains. Another $220 gone. Pick a brokerage with poor features and pay hidden costs through worse execution, less research, or future transfer fees. Conservatively, another $100 annually. Total damage from these 5 mistakes on a $50,000 account, $840 per year minimum. Over 10 years, that's $8,400 plus lost compounding. As your account grows to $100,000, $200,000, the losses multiply proportionally. A $200,000 account making these same mistakes bleeds $3,360 annually. Over 10 years, that's $33,600 stolen from your future wealth. Here's the brutal truth about brokerage accounts. The industry profits when you stay ignorant. They design systems to maximize their revenue, not your returns. Low default sweep rates aren't accidents. Complex account structures aren't for your benefit. Hidden fees and subpar tools aren't oversights. This is the business model, but now you know better. Fix these 5 mistakes and you immediately start keeping thousands of dollars that would otherwise disappear. Move your cash to high-yield money market funds. Hold investments longer to qualify for long-term capital gains rates. Diversify across brokerages once you exceed SIPC limits. Match your trading strategy to account type. Research before choosing your brokerage. Want more of this in-depth analysis? Your likes and subscriptions guide what topics I cover next. The difference between beginners who build wealth and those who tread water often comes down to these fundamental errors. You can pick mediocre stocks and still build wealth if you avoid these mistakes. But pick great stocks while making all 5 errors, and you'll underperform the market while the brokerages get rich off your cash. The choice is yours. Stay informed, optimize your account structure, and keep the money that's rightfully yours. Your future self will thank you for every dollar you stop giving away.